So what's up boys, it's xWizard here and welcome to another new game, the Stanley Parable, right? From what I understood, this game is not that long, 20-30 minutes of gameplay, something like that. But it's very interesting game because you can actually get some different endings depending on what do you choose. So it will be very good. I'm very pumped actually to play this. I never played it, but I saw some things on YouTube, but I never actually watched the whole gameplay. So let's see what will actually be here. Let's see. Oh my god, I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for the love and the support on the previous videos. And especially on the Warcraft, because a lot of you guys are here for the Warcraft, but maybe you can actually look for this game as well, because this will be good. Very funny game. It's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end, is loading. Okay. So how are you today? Fine? Okay, I understand.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Yeah. Like
and
the most
then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, so now we have control for this. We can actually push something here? No, we cannot. Okay, so this voice actually is telling me what to do, I believe, right? So from what I understood, actually you can actually do what the voice says, or you can actually do the what do you want actually. Okay, let's go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, so with E we are using objects. Oh, nice painting here. Okay. This might be a freer photo though, to be honest with you. Okay, meeting room now, right? It's kind of spooky, like, to be...
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
To be solo, single in all this building? Yeah. Oh, what is there? Some graphs. Some charts.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so now we have a choice. We can go either left or right. We should go left. I don't know. Okay, let's go left. The sensitivity, it's a bit, wait. Keyboard and mouse, more sensitivity, kind of something like that. Okay. Everything is closed.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
In the boss office, okay, okay. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Wait! Who did that? Profits, profits, profits. What is hot profits? You most of all. Okay, yeah, bullshit for a company. Oh! Boom!
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I wonder what happens if I just stay here, you know? Because this guy is actually...
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Maybe it's something here though.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ah, I love this. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, I go down. I go down. I don't care now. I don't listen to you anymore. Firehouse. Fire hose.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yes.
Were they simply repeating?
I cannot
No,
go
Stanley
back.
said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He
The
yelled.
cooks are working now.
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin. the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
What? What
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
How?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
And this was the game. Thank you for being here. No, I'm just joking. What happened? I don't understand. What was that? That was like a...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is this a continuation or it's a new game? I don't understand, I swear.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On his left.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Yeah,
and
no.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, of course, that's what I wanted. Exactly, man. Thank you. Voice in my head. Can I go there?
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ah, not again. Look what is in the front. This room again?
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, let's go.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
It's a red button. I need to press it, man. Okay, let's go. Ah, not again here.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, let's go up now. Let's go
Coming to
there.
a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, that's what I will do. Oh, this is nice. Look at that. Hey, Michelle, I'm looking for the boss. Yeah, come in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are so sweet. sweetheart.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I wonder if I can go back. Okay. Ah, there is that door. It's blinking. Oh, a big red button. You have to press it, man. When you see it, press it. Okay, we are loading. There are so many endings, I don't know exactly how many there are.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Mind control facility, okay. This is going...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. We can escape. Let's go. It's mind control facility, man. This should be good, right? It's so dark right here. And what is there? I cannot zoom though.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Wait, what? Oh yeah, there is another one here. Oh, and another one. Platform, okay. Cameras.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
We were something out here, right? 372, I believe. I don't remember exactly.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Man, there are two, I believe, two possibilities to go there to the facility power. Okay, here is not working, but there is a cable though, so you can actually press here. No. One. It's What is here? Wait, let's see. Console disable. We can go on top there. And that is a 4, yes. Also, maybe actually the buttons, how you should press them. Yeah, let's actually press 1. Let's do that. Let's try to see what happens though. If not, we actually just go to the facility power and see. So 1, 2, 3 is there. And what is here though? In the middle, nothing. Oh, it's a red button there. Okay, 3 here. Oh, and this is 5. And 3 is there. 3. So silence. 4. Silence English. And let's press 5. I don't know if there are like 6 buttons or 7 or 8 or only 5. We will see. Come on, be something good if we press all of these. And afterwards, if nothing happens, that is still red. Maybe we... Okay, let's see here. What is this? Nothing? Okay, okay. For sure that it's something there. Like you need to do a puzzle or something, but I don't understand what. Okay, let's go. Let's go further then. Because I don't know how to do that. Mind controls either. Awaiting input. On or off.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
You can press on, right? Okay, let's press on. Because off it's meh, right? On, it's actually mind control them.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say...
let's run!
Now this is making things a little more fun, Stanley. It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But
Okay, this
what
is
precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
Why it's
What all
T1?
this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-round will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it.
Come on, I pressed
I'm going
one.
to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Yes.
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you...
You have 2 attempts remaining.
This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world that's...
I wonder what happens if I press another one.
Destroy it first. So
Goodbye, employee.
Can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully?
Enable backup.
Another choice.
What is happening?
Or don't. It's all the same to me.
Oh my god, 9
All
seconds, I
part
swear.
of the joke.
This is it.
And believe me, I will be laughing at every
Let's
second
go
of your inevitable
far
life
away.
from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever up.
He crashed or what? What happened? Oh no. Phew. Man, you couldn't actually leave that room. Like, how do you leave that room? We pressed on everything. We tried to solve the puzzle. It was a puzzle? Or it was just...
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Man, this is not another beginning. Oh, don't be a jumpscare, please.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On his left. Last time we actually did right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful... But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, last time we did here, right? Let's actually just go.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Oh, look at it.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay, let's not do that.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
I understood you, sir. Let's go to the red door. I believe this will be better, I swear, I don't know.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
I don't believe
The
you.
problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here.
He tricked me.
Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Why did I listen to him? Oh. Okay.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
You can
actually
jump?
feel happy.
No, we can't. This is beautiful though. Look at that. But let's not say too much because I think I would die.
No, wait. Where are you going?
To eat
Oh
some
no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
It's okay. I don't think I did any progress anyway.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Ah, we can actually suicide. Geronimo! Oh shit. You cannot jump though.
Oh,
Nothing?
thank God. You lived. No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Come on.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
No, no,
Can you
no,
do that for
no.
me?
Let's try one more time and if
Is
we're
this
not
really
dying.
how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over
Yeah,
to
because
be
you
rid of it?
play with my
You're
mind.
literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
What?
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
If we stay here, the music it's too high though, and I couldn't hear what he's. I bought the game or something. Let's try to jump one more time. Maybe we will die. I thought that it's faster though. I don't know. This seems like. I don't know if this is a new game like all over again or not, but in the beginning there, right, the narrator didn't say the same thing over and over. Yeah, okay.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Are you
Perhaps he had
serious?
simply missed a memo.
I messed this up.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, let's go here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
Yes.
it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
It's the same. I wonder if you can go here though, if you jump from there. You know?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but
No,
the fact is that the
that's too much.
story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
For her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Oh
That's her, Stanley. You need
Hello?
to be the one to do this. To
Yes? Oh, hi honey. Yeah, I will come and I will take the bread. Thank you, I love you.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh!
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Hello, miss. Are you looking gorgeous?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Press O on a cue.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
I don't want to press. Let's see what will happen. I kinda want to press it though. Nothing. If I press something wrong? No, it's nothing. It's not working. I believe we need to press though. Okay, let's do it.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Please press 4.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
To tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
I really wanted to see though, if we do the same thing over and over again, it will be the same ending. Like that was like really the ending. Like we died there and we actually began another game, or this is a continuation of what we did.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay, let's not do it. But I don't know if we actually, like how much we actually should stay here without doing it. Or maybe the game wants actually to press it no matter what. be at work in the morning. Come on, let's press it because nothing is happening, right? Come on, do something, game. Okay, let's press it.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
I just want to leave.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
We pressed some buttons. Man, this game is messing with your brain, I swear.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Four, 5, 7. I don't understand.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's get to go good now. Till the end, let's see what will happen.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, we did this. We can go. Yes. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money in the breakfast, money. Crisp. Okay. What is this, man? Oh my god, they are so... Let's just go here. I'm too curious. This texture, wow. So good. Oh, the same! Yay! You can go back? No, you can't.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an
Once
indication of any human life.
Right?
What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Man, not again. I don't know if this is actually giving you like an like some ending screen or something. Let's do one more now, so let's see.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Let's go escape. Let's go escape now.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't know what to do anymore. I don't want to die again. Let's do what the voice says.
Of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
And there are like good endings or bad endings, or are neutral, like doesn't matter.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
The voice though is pretty spooky.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Let's see. Of course this will not end. Good.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine.
Yay.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or
the music was too high.
Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Open door? There is no door here.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I believe we actually did more endings though, right? Because after the good end, I believe this is kind of the good ending, right? Because we escaped with the lives, like with our life. So I believe we did more, 3 or 4 endings, something like that. Anyway, there are way more endings. So I don't know, tell me guys if this is like the real ending, like this game has a real ending or it doesn't have anything. I don't understand. I don't know, tell me if you like actually to see more all the endings actually, because I can do it. I'll try actually to go to the all the rooms, because there are more, right? You can actually go to there and to that corridor, long corridor, and that in the back was my dad. Anyway, we actually came back, right? But anyway, if you, I hope actually you enjoyed this, and tell me if I should replay it with other endings. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay awesome, boys. Bye bye.
Are you listening?